Greetings, captains. Hope you are doing well. So today I'm doing a review of the Kaiser battleship from Germany. It was hauled as this new fantastic battleship that was coming out, and it was specifically talked about how wonderful its armor belt was and so forth. And the footage you see now clearly demonstrate what most people that don't have battleships sees, for example, the Kaiser as. Something that basically one-shots your cruiser left, right and center, is completely OP, and why did Gaijin even decide to put that in the game? Now there is some point to that, but battleships are supposed to be powerful. But there has also been another thing that has popped up, and that is it seemed to die very easily. And what are we going to do about that? I don't know. I was one of the first to probably get the Kaiser. I started to grind for it as soon as it was released, and it took me about 3 or 4 days, and then I had the ship. And then, shock horror, when I started playing the ship, I found that basically I got killed left, right and center. So let's have a little look at the stats from my ship, and I'll bring them up here so you can see. So this is what it looks like. And if you noticed, I've done 9 battles. Only won 2 of those battles. Win percentage of 22%. I died 8 times, and I actually only managed to sink 6 enemy ships. So not great. And if you compare it to my other stats for my other German heavy cruisers and battleships, battle cruisers, it doesn't look good. 22% against 58 at the lowest for one of the other ships. Let's compare it to how I managed. So what I did 10 battles, and here's the result now. And as you can see from that, it looks much better now. Not fantastic, 36% win ratio is not great, but bear in mind I started from 22, so it has improved. 33 kills to 18 deaths. So basically my KD ratio, so number of kills divided by number of deaths, went up from 0.75 and is now at 1.8. And obviously I must have done a little bit better in those 10 battles to get it up to that. How much money should you earn from the game? From playing battleships? I did actually earn silver lines, which I was pleased about. So in the 10 games that I had, I started counting everything up and so forth, and basically I made 498,000 silver lines. That's after I spent 119,000 silver lines on 5 new modules. I did use quite a few RP boosters along the way to just help to get modules. And what I specifically looked upon was to, I basically don't want to get sunk. So what do I need to do about that? So if we look at this image here, you can see that this is what I started off with. So I had the tool set, the fire protection system, I had the AP ammunition. So that was a great starting point. You can see I'm very close to have researched the shrapnel protection as well. When I finished after the 10 battles, I had researched, I think, 5 more modules. So I basically went for the unsinkability. So I actually got the shrapnel protection almost straight away, ventilation, new pumps. I did have a bit of problems with range finding, when you scroll up and down, can't adjust quite right. So I basically went for improved rangefinder. That was the only sort of non-seakeeping thing that I did. And I also went for the rudder replacement because trying to turn a battleship to avoid a torpedo is useful. I mean, you don't always have much chance, but it's useful if you can do it. So that was good. If we look a bit closer, this is the problem area of the ships. Now, It's always a problem area for any ship, of course. But this is a magazine. This is where, if you get armor racked and hit something there, that's it. I did the 10 battles having turned off, I didn't have torpedoes loaded because a few people have said maybe the torpedoes is what gets hit. And you can see just underneath the ammunition here, you can see the 2 torpedo launchers there's in the ship at the front, and have one on the other side, also have some act in the stern. So basically no torpedoes while I was fighting, and apart from a few situations I didn't miss it anyway. We can also see if we compare here first sort of the X-ray image, that you can see clearly the magazine, and if I overlay on top of that the armor protection belt, you can sort of see that it is exposed if the ship gets hit either from above, so you get bombed, and I will show you that in a few seconds how badly bombed I got. I think when I died in the ship, it wasn't because I got armor racked by another ship. It did happen. It happened 2 or 3 times in the 10 battles, and you just have to take that in the chin. But what a majority of my deaths was due to being hit by a bomber, and so I will show you those as well. So that's where you get hit on top of the deck, and I think the ammo racks that happened is basically when a shell comes and land. It seems strange, but not directly from the side, because you're fairly protected. What I've highlighted here is the armor belt, the 350mm armor belt that goes around the ship. But of course, there's many other places that ammunition can hit you, and bigger battleships have a lot more penetration with a bigger shell, so sometimes it could maybe even go through that if a ship was close enough. But more likely than not, the shell would come and land on top of the ship, go through and go down to the magazine, and that's how I was hit. And it might be hit sort of like a 45 degrees from the front and go down that way. That could certainly happen. Has the ship improved? Have they done something? Maybe. I haven't seen any patch note to say, oh, we have fixed the Kaiser, but it feels a lot better than it did in the early days. So basically I haven't played it, I don't know, for a month or something like that, because I just got fed up with it and so, well, what's the point in playing this if I get ammo racked every 5 minutes? So I think there has been some little still change somewhere along the way. If there's a note about it or dip block or somewhere, I haven't seen it. Is it playable now? Yes, it's definitely playable now. I would say it's actually one of the cheaper-ish battleships to play. Now bear in mind the modules that I have right now. My max repair is 19,000 silver lions. If I compare that to the other German battleships, so the Westfalen is about 45,000 spaded, Helgoland is about 40,000 spaded. I'm not quite sure why the Westfalen is more than the Helgoland, but hey-oh, Gaijin is the king of that. And then the Van der Tan is interesting because it is just a battle cruiser, but it's a very good battle cruiser, and the max repair cost on that is only 8,000 silver lions, which I think we'll have to put down as very good value. Now, is 19,000 silver lions okay? I still think it's a bit steep, and the reason why I think it's a bit steep, so to play those 10 battles took me 4.5 hours. I did a stream of it, and you can find that on YouTube, and it's 4.5 hours long. You can see the whole shebang in that. Now, I did the calculation, and if I take away the fact that I had to buy modules along the way, well, if I include the modules, and that was an outgoing cost, because for most people they will be researching, so that money just goes, well, then I earned nearly 500,000 silver lions in those 4.5 hours, which is about 110,000 silver lions an hour. I don't think that's a lot. 110,000 silver lions, if you have a good gold plane and you have a good battle, you can earn that in 20 minutes. So I don't think that's extraordinary, but maybe I should just be happy that I have a top tier battleship and at least I didn't lose silver lions. If you say, well, the ship could have been spaded and so on, then that would have raised I wouldn't have to buy any modules, and the modules cost me 119,000. Then I would have earned 617,000 instead, with an average earning of 137,000 silver lions per hour, which is still not great, I don't think, but it's a heck of a lot better than nothing, or i.e. losing money instead. I don't think you ever should lose money for playing. I think that's inherently wrong, but I'm not Gaijin, so that's up to them, I guess. Would I recommend the Kaiser as a battleship? It is fun to play, and I will show you a few battles here where, I did one-shot other battleships. It did happen, and I got one-shotted by them. There's also one where you have this Gaijin logic that you seem to have a bigger chance of revenge kill, so we killed each other at the same shot, and it was me and another Wonder Tan. So we basically just exchanged fire and we both died. So that happens too. It has good angles, it sails well. Yes, it's not fully spaded yet, and normally I would tend to spade these things, or get the modules that make the turrets rotate a little bit quicker and stuff like that, so this still feels a bit slow, but it's a battleship, so it's sort of allowed to. It feels good to play now, so I wouldn't be adverse to it. I think that actually, if you are hitting up the German line right now, it's a cheaper battleship to play. So yeah, go for the Van der Tan straight away, and then after that, get the Kaiser. I think that's the long and the short of it. You will have fun in that ship, and it will do you proud. But don't expect it to not being ammo-racked. But that seems to be a thing now. So maybe I was just lucky in those 10 battles. I didn't matter. Hugo every 5 minutes just shut me down. But I was an average 5. And if you talk about the losses and the wins, it was actually exactly 5 losses and 5 win in terms of games. So as average as it can be. So yeah. Hope that you enjoyed this little video. Gunship over and out.